Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're really getting into a market that you might not think about much, but it's huge. The institutional and industrial cleaners market. I&I, as they call it.
Right.
Our goal here, our mission for this deep dive, is to kind of cut through the noise. We'll pull out the key stuff from the sources we've looked at so you can get up to speed quickly on what's driving it, what the challenges are, and what's next for this pretty essential sector. And just so you know, all the insights we're discussing, they're powered by data and analysis from cognitive market research. Okay, let's unpack this. We're going to start by looking at the surprising forces propelling growth in this space. Here's where it gets really interesting.
Yeah, it really is interesting. And what jumps out from the research is, well, how clear these drivers actually are. There's this much bigger focus now on infection control, on hygiene. That's huge. Plus, you've got the massive expansion in hospitality and healthcare. And then layered on top, increasingly strict safety rules and regulations. They're all pushing things forward.
That first point you mentioned, infection control, that feels like a game changer. It's not just, oh, we need to clean more. The sources show that post-pandemic, hygiene's gone from just a cost, like something you have to do, to being a critical part of a brand's image.
A differentiator.
Exactly, a strategic investment.
Places like restaurants, hotels, hospitals, schools, they're not just cleaning more, they're visibly investing in it, showing people they're safe. Which means more demand, yeah, but also demand for better products, more effective ones where you can see what's in them. All aimed at stopping microbes, bacteria, viruses from spreading, keeping everyone safe. Staff, visitors, everyone, right? And building right on that point, think about hospitality and healthcare growing so fast, especially in developing economies. You've got new hospitals popping up, more places for elder care, big commercial pitch-ins, hotels, loads of them. And the demand there is constant. It's for daily cleaning, sure, but also for really specialized stuff, too. These places have to meet tough sanitation standards. They have to maintain that high level of service. And that directly fuels the need for these advanced I&I cleaners. It basically enables them to operate.
That's a key point. It makes you wonder, are these places seeing a real return on investment from spending more on cleaning, or is it still mostly about ticking the compliance box? And speaking of compliance, yeah, we absolutely have to talk about the safety and regulatory side. Our sources really highlight bodies like OSHA and the EPA in the U.S. And internationally, you mentioned REACH. That's the big European chemical regulation.
Well, registration, evaluation, authorization, and restriction of chemicals. It's a mouthful.
It is.
Yeah.
But it sets a high bar, right? Especially for companies selling globally. They have to be transparent about what's in their products, develop safer stuff.
Absolutely.
So that whole regulatory framework is at a constant pressure, keeping demand for I&I cleaners steady because institutions must meet those codes year in, year out. But, it can't all be smooth sailing. Every market hits bumps in the road. What are some of the big headwinds? What challenges really stood out for this sector in the research?
Well, one key challenge really revolves around legacy chemistry, old formulas. Think about products using things like volatile organic compounds, VOCs. You often find them in, say, traditional ammonia or chlorine cleaners. The sources detail how these chemicals can release gases, off-gassing, affects indoor air quality, and that raises long-term health worries for people in the buildings and for the cleaning staff, too. So this is pushing manufacturers hard. They need to find alternatives that are safer but just as effective, and that's a big R&D challenge, especially for established players.
That's a really interesting technical point. And it connects directly to the next challenge, doesn't it? The cost. These specialized eco-friendly alternatives, they often cost more up front.
They do.
So if you're running a public school, maybe a smaller hospital, a town council facility, you're probably working with a tight budget.
Right.
Making that switch from cheaper traditional cleaners to the sustainable ones, it can be tough to justify financially, even if you know the long-term benefits. It's a real barrier.
That cost factor is definitely critical. It makes you wonder, though, does that initial higher cost maybe get offset down the line, like maybe lower healthcare costs for employees, or just a better brand image? It's hard to quantify sometimes.
True.
And then there's another big hurdle the research points to, adoption rates. Specifically, low adoption in developing areas or more rural regions. You've got issues like, lack of infrastructure sometimes. Affordability is obviously a big one. And often just a lack of awareness about the benefits of better products. So lots of institutions in these areas just stick with, generic stuff or older methods, which naturally dampens the demand for the branded, certified I&I cleaners, even though they're proven to be better.
Okay, so we've got the growth drivers, we've got the hurdles, we've looked at where the market is now. Let's maybe pivot a bit and look ahead.
Yeah.
Towards the horizon. What are some of the really big shifts, the innovations? What's likely to reshape the I&I cleaners market going forward?
Yeah, looking ahead is always interesting. One of the most powerful trends, I think, is this move towards sustainable and green cleaners. It's really picking up steam. We're seeing more products that are plant-based, biodegradable, non-toxic, and institutional buyers are actively looking for them. Businesses, government facilities, they're all feeling the pressure and often the desire to be more environmentally responsible. So demand for eco-certified products, it's surging. It's not really niche anymore. It's becoming baseline.
Yeah, it feels like it's often driven by what consumers or employees want now, too, not just ticking a regulatory box.
Exactly. It's a value shift.
And what else? We're also seeing tech play a bigger role, right?
What?
Automation, smart systems.
Oh, definitely. Automation and intelligent dispensing systems. That's another big one. Imagine like a major airport, the sheer scale, the number of people, different surfaces.
Yeah, massive operation.
They need cleaning that's effective, yes, but also super efficient and safe for thousands of people walking through. So big places like that, they're adopting robotic cleaners, automated chemical dispensers.
That's fascinating stuff. How does it actually help?
Well, the tech brings consistency. Precision dosing means less waste, better performance. Robots can follow optimized routes, maybe using AI. It reduces product waste, uses resources better, cuts down on human error. It's all about efficiency, working smarter.
Smarter, not just harder. Makes
Right.
sense.
And then the final trend that's really compelling is the rise of custom solutions, private label cleaning products.
Ah, like bespoke cleaning.
Exactly. Think personalized scents for a hotel chain to reinforce its brand. Or specific formulas designed for unique building materials in, say, a new university building.
Okay.
Institutions, especially in hospitality and education, are working directly with the manufacturers now. They want products tailored to their specific brand standards, their functional needs, moving away from just grabbing whatever's on the shelf.
So it's not just about getting things clean anymore.
Right. It shows the market is maturing. Cleaning is becoming part of the overall experience, not just a background task.
Okay, that brings us nicely to the wrap-up. We've covered a lot of ground. So what does this all mean for you listening? Maybe you're dealing with supply chains for these products. Maybe you're developing the next green cleaner. Or perhaps you manage facilities and need to track these shifts. Whatever your angle, these dynamics in the I&I cleaners market, they're shaping your world. Understanding them gives you powerful insights into hygiene trends, regulations, sustainability. It's really essential knowledge for staying ahead.
And just to leave you with something to think about, if we connect all this to the bigger picture, we're seeing this trajectory towards highly specialized, often automated cleaning. So it raises a pretty interesting question, I think. How might our whole idea of cleanliness change? Could it move beyond just, basic sanitation? Could it become a more integrated part of how spaces are designed and experienced? Maybe even a way for businesses to compete?
Cleanliness as a design feature.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's definitely something to chew on. A great thought to end with. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the institutional and industrial cleaners market. We really encourage you to keep exploring these trends and challenges on your own. Until next time, stay informed.